Hey, how's it going, guys? This is Taylor here at GP Rod and Customs. I'm one of the fabricators here, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys a little trick we like to call splitting the suede. So sometimes you're always supposed to fab with your final materials in mind, but sometimes you run into some tricky spots, and as you guys know, suede just doesn't stretch like vinyl does. So we have a little trick we do for that. You'll notice on the suede it's got this black backing to it, so that adds thickness to it. And what we'll actually be doing is separating the backing from the suede itself and give you a little bit more stretch. So that allows us to wrap real tricky, tight, intricate corners like these all the way without having to put another piece in there or rewrap it. So you're going to take your razor blade, try and hold it, get it right in between the backing and the suede itself. So on this particular piece, we're not going to be using the backing at all. Sometimes you'll use the backing, you'll actually glue down the backing first and then tack it and then separate the backing from the suede and then go back and spray glue over top of the backing and then put your suede. But this instance, I need it super thin, so we're just going to be using just the suede top itself. Hold that down so it doesn't blow away. Now here you've got your backing itself, which will actually stretch and adhere a little bit more. You can do a little bit more with it than when it has the suede attached to it. So when you wrap something real tight, real tricky with just the backing first, it'll wrap better when you split it. It's just double the work. Let that tack up for a minute, enough to start wrapping, so we'll start that process. You can normally stretch and pull that corner without splitting the suede. Yeah, so one of the reasons you'll split the suede when you've got super tight tolerances, in this case on this panel, I've got some real tight tolerances up at the top and on this face as well, and I've got some magnets in this panel that I want the trim panel that goes over top of it to click in and hold a little bit stronger than it would if I still had the backing. The downside to splitting the suede like this is if you're not using the backing, you've got a a lot more opportunity for dust to get in underneath and debris, and it will show more so than it would if you had the backing in there. This little cutout behind this trim panel on this panel is actually for our tuning compartment, where we've got our USBs for both of the JL VXI amplifiers and the valet switches for the amplifiers. So that allows us to tune the system and keep everything completely hidden but still accessible to whoever's tuning the audio system. And then when it's done, that panel will just click into place right over top of it. So completely hidden, and we'll vinyl wrap this trim panel once we get it, the vinyl in for it, but just super tight. I mean, it's almost press fit now. I've got it tolerance perfect for the vinyl and the suede, so it'll be super tight. Probably won't even need to adhere it into the panel. It'll just click into place. This is the other crucial part right there, is that seam right there is somewhat visible in the trunk, so you split the suede to get a real tight line on it. I think we're 130 or 140 hours into this build so far, so it's definitely a long one. We're hoping to get things wrapped up in the trunk on it probably by the end of next week. And we can show you guys the finished product on the trunk. On your way, B? I'm done with it. Yeah. That's fine. So you'll sometimes run into instances like on this panel where you've got a real deep draw, and you can actually take and trim that suede up a little bit, and then just cut yourself another piece of suede, typically from your scrap, that's got some glue on it, and then butt them right up next to each other. And then you can take your razor blade or even sometimes your finger, and those will actually butt right up next to each other, and you can't even tell that it'll be multiple pieces. There's our mounting hole. That pretty much does it for this panel. Nice clean trim panel. And that'll about do it for this week's Teach It Tuesday. I hope you guys like my little trick. Like, subscribe, and tune in for the next episode.